about 5 to 6 years ago, I saw a Mr. Beast podcast clip, and I can't really remember what he said exactly, but he said something along the lines of just improving something in every YouTube video that you make. And he was pretty complex with it. He talked about having multiple friends that kind of pursue the same things, and over time, you're all kind of learning from each other and making the appropriate adjustments. And he really talked about it in a YouTube sense, but what I realized is that's very true for real life. And, this was 6 years ago, so I really hadn't done much with my life yet. And if I'm being honest, I still really haven't. But it was a quote that always stuck with me because I realized later down the line that it really applied in every single metric of life. And let me kind of explain what I mean by that. I was really fat when I was younger. But actually, let me go back even further. I used to have a very good body, and I do now. I don't mean that in a bragging way. I mean it in a, let me add a context way. But when I was younger, I'm talking, 13 years old, I was very ripped with an 8-pack. My cousin's friends were, we'd be playing on the trampoline with my cousin's friends who were 15, 16, 17. And when we'd wrestle on the trampoline, I'd be beating all of them. I had a really good physique, and I was very far ahead of where most people my age were at the time. And I moved, and I got really depressed with where we moved. And it led to me getting fat and really just, I did a complete 180. I started playing Xbox all the time. I mean, I went from playing outside all the time and constantly doing stuff and eating really well to eating literal crap, playing Xbox for 10 to 12 hours a day. And it got even worse when I was homeschooled because I would cheat in all my stuff and then play Xbox for the whole day. And that was probably the most depressed I have ever felt in my life. And that's really important for kind of what I'm going to really show later on. But I remember I set a goal for myself eventually because, I hated my life. Honestly, I did. I knew I was fat. I knew that I had potential. I knew that I used to look really good. And I just knew that I wasn't doing the things that I should have been doing. And it led me down this journey where fitness became something that was very important in my life. And it was a constant battle of, when you first start trying to lose weight, you don't really know what you're doing. It's kind of like, that you should go to the gym, that you should hop on the treadmill, that you should eat right, but you don't really know how to do those things in the correct way. And what I realized in doing that is you really don't need to have it all figured out. You really just have to start. And that's really true with everything in life. My fitness journey taught me everything I needed to really know about what it really takes to be an entrepreneur. Because, kind of relating back to that Mr. Beast quote, you could apply that in every single aspect of life. Because really, it's not about, creating that one better thing that you do in every video. It's about how you constantly do that. You know what I mean? How you constantly do that in every aspect of your life. Because, when I first started trying to lose weight, it was, okay, how can I replace peanut butter with something that's more healthy? Okay, how can I replace this candy with something that's more healthy? And then it's okay, how can I find a more enjoyable form of cardio? And then it's okay, I don't like regular bench press. Let's try incline bench press. And then it's, okay, how do I calculate my macros properly? And then it's, okay, you get the idea. It's constantly improving in every aspect of the journey. And this is something that I'm always kind of conscious of because, I reflected on that journey when I finally got that dream body. I would say that I have a very good physique for a 22-year-old. I'm quite ripped. And I don't say this to brag, but I really do just say this to provide context and that to create the narrative, so to speak. But, I really do have my dream body. I've got a nice 6-pack and I've got a lot of muscle. And I'm a heavy asthmatic, but I'm still very active for these limitations that I thought I had for so long. But I applied this mentality to everything that I've really tried in my entrepreneurship journey. And the first thing was when I started a Minecraft documentary channel. And I didn't really understand editing at first at all. I really didn't. I was just kind of spitballing it. But I had that mentality of, okay, if I improve everything, with every video, every time I'm doing something, eventually it's going to start to click. And it did. And I got to a point where I made a video about a famous YouTuber a famous Minecraft trolling YouTuber who got banned basically and, terminated because he was trolling kids. And the video got over 300,000 views. And it just really, I reflected on that a lot because I was like, wow, all it took was improving something every day to really get to that point. And I think it's one thing because like I think everyone kind of really knows that. Like if you improve something every day, you're going to eventually hit that goal. But it's really different when you haven't experienced it because you're kind of just, going off of that blind faith that you don't really know if it's going to work out. You're really just hoping that it does. And, you've heard someone say that. You've heard a lot of people say it. You know that it was true for them, but you're not really sure if it's going to be true for you. So you're kind of just going off that blind faith. But I really do think that's why the gym is such a great starting place for everyone, because you get that experience early on. You get that immediate, like, wow, this actually, there's proof to this. Like, it actually works. And it's so powerful when you're really trying to become someone who matters. You know what I mean? Not for everyone else, but for you. Like someone that you're proud of, because that's really what it's all about. But, eventually I kind of decided that YouTube wasn't really for me. I guess not for me, but the documentary style of a channel wasn't for me because I didn't feel authentic doing it. And it felt like I was growing a fan base of people that just wanted dopamine and like didn't really want to see me. And I guess that's why with this channel, I'm doing very minimal editing, and I want it to be about who I am as a person and not really how much editing I could throw into a clip. But about a year and a half ago, not a year and a half, about a year ago, I started a fitness Instagram page, and I had so many people that made fun of me when I started. I lost my whole friend group because of it, because they thought I was corny. I had one friend that stuck with me the whole time. There's a reason he's still my best friend. And then it finally worked out. I had a couple of reels that blew up, and I grew it to about 50,000 followers. And I was just like, wow, all it takes is just showing up every single day and improving one thing. Because, it's easy when it works out with one thing. You can kind of say like, yeah, it's coincidence. It may not work with everything else. But when you constantly have these aspects of your life that you're constantly working in and they constantly get better, it's proof that it works with literally anything. It works with literally anything. But, I didn't really like the fitness space. I really liked creating content, but I just didn't really feel like that was something I didn't feel like it was for me. I feel like God had a different calling for me. And over the past, I would say year, really 6 months, I've been learning day trading. And it took me so long to follow my rules. And I've finally just now, I'm not blowing funded accounts like I was before. I'm following my rules. I'm being patient. I'm not trading on high news days. And I know my strategy works because even on the days that I'm not trading, I'll look back on the market and I'm like, wow, my strategy would have played out perfect here. And on the days I am trading, I'm following my rules. And every time that I think about quitting, I just realize that all it takes is improving just a little bit more than you did the previous day. And it sounds so simple, right? But I think the problem with a lot of people is they have these super big tasks and their dopamine's cooked and they think that they have to have it all figured out the very next day. It's a complete fallacy. You just have to improve a little bit every single day. And that's how you reach your goals. That's really all it takes, is saying, you know what? This is going to be hard. And it's good that it's going to be hard because that means it's going to be worth it. Because the reality is if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth it. Like really think about that for a second. If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth it. If everyone could have something that you wanted, there would be no value in it. If everyone can figure out day trading, YouTube, making, escaping the matrix, not having a 9-to-5, not having a job, would it be valuable? So it's the suffering that makes it worth it. And that's what you have to understand. Your goal shouldn't be to succeed as fast as possible. It should be, how many times can I fail to reach my goal as fast as possible? How many times can I look like a complete idiot so that I reach my goal as fast as possible? That's what it's about. It's not about trying to, succeed as fast as you can. That's your dopamine talking. It's, hey, you know what? If I knew that it took 30 videos of me looking like an idiot to have one that took off traction, that's the mindset. That's all you need. That's literally all you need. I know with this channel, if I stick with this, which I am, it's going to pop off because everything else has popped off. Because the reality is you can't stick to something. You can't sit here and tell me that if you try to get fit for 10 years, you're still going to be fat after 10 years. If you're doing something different, better, that's better than what you did the previous day, it wouldn't make sense. You can't sit here and tell me that if you did YouTube and you improved something every single day, it wouldn't work out. You can't convince me The problem is most people are too lazy to just improve, and they just want to keep doing the same repetitive stuff and not get out of their comfort zone. But if you constantly improve, it's going to work out eventually. And it's made me realize, like, you have to have that mindset, because if you don't, it's never going to work out. But, like, that's the secret. It's improving every single day and not expecting the result that you want the very next day. Because then you're just going to, really just disappoint yourself. You just got to understand it from a long-term game and understand that, look, whatever I want to do is going to be hard. Losing weight's hard. It is. And that's why it's valuable. The fact that not everyone has a six-pack is awesome, because it means when I have it, I'm going to be the 1%. I'm going to be the one who's special. I'm going to be proud of myself because most people can't achieve this. And that's what it takes. It takes finding value in the suffering in anything you do in life. Suffer as much as you can. Put yourself through as much stress as you can, because it's only going to help you achieve your goals faster. And then it's infectious, because you're going to want to pursue that in every aspect of your life. I mean, the mission is really simple. Like, fail as fast as you can to learn as fast as you can to get to your goal faster. That's literally the secret sauce that no one will ever tell you. But if you can do that, you will literally achieve success in every single aspect of your life.